Well, hello, folks. It is another Wednesday, and we are back to rank another puzzle game for the Game Boy. As you can see, we now have a top 40. I'm here all the way with Tetris at number 1, and the well-earned second place going to Mario's Picross, which we played last week. All the way down to Frankie, Joe, and Dirk on the Tiles, down here at number 40. And this week we've got a bit of a wild card. And this is a game, I do have some prior experience with versions of this. The game is called Flipull, or full title, Flipull, an exciting cube game. Because if you're going to get a cube game, it might as well be an exciting one. And yeah, this is an odd game, to say the least. That's not to say it's bad, but it is odd. And so let's just not waste any more time and jump right on in here. Let's unpause this. Are we good to go? Controller's working. Okay. What? Actually, maybe we should just let the attract mode play, now that I have disrupted. So the gist is, as you can see, like you need to sort of match the boxes, kind of like what he's doing here. And it's considered a miss if you, if the box that comes back to you... This game is hard to explain, is the thing. We'll jump on in, so... Oops. Okay, I didn't mean to do that, but... So we now have this triangle thing. And we go up here, and so... These little tiles here up in the upper left corner, we can use that to sort of aim different shots. You see the little arrow telling us where it's going to land. Now we hit that, it's going to clear 2 triangle blocks, and it's going to come back to us as the circle blocks. That's the next one down. Okay, now we need to match a circle block. Okay, now we have an X, so now we need to match an X block. Okay, so another triangle, another circle, another triangle. So now that's a miss because there's no more triangles. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go... Where do I want to go? Do I want to do this? Will that work? Nope, that's another miss. So... a little bit unpredictable. Well, not unpredictable, I'm not able to predict it. Jessica, thank you so much! Hi! And so, yep, there's the box. And so you see at the corner where it says clear 9. That means we have to clear at least 9 blocks, and I think it keeps going until you can't make a move. Okay, so now if we do this, it'll get us the circle. That's the square. And will it come back a square? I think it's going to come back a square, so maybe we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that either. That was a good move. Gets us another square. Neither of those moves is ideal, but okay. Oh crap, now if we do that, we're gonna get the square again. We won't be able to do anything with it. That might be fine. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I think the idea with those things is, yeah, so it'll go through them if it comes down from the top, but it'll bounce off of them from the side. And so if we want the square, we have to do this. Okay, so unfortunately, because of the way the corner is shaped, we do have 3 X's vertically, like in a column there, but we can't get them, because that move is just not available. So instead, we're gonna have to do something else. Do this. There. Oh yeah, and this is also timed. And that was kind of a bad move. But now we got one blocking right there. That's rude. Is there a way to hit that? Okay, there is. So we're gonna go for this. And all the way up here. I think they did an okay job with the sort of translating the visuals of this to the Game Boy. I am a little bit worried about readability, though. I don't think these shapes might be a little too small on that little screen. I think this is gonna get us. Yeah, that's a miss. So the hurry up alert really doesn't need to be quite so abrasive. Okay, so it looks like we can't hit the back row at all. That's kind of nasty. Sorry, you have no next move. And 3 continues. 3, that's brutal. 3 continues. But the flip side of that is, I believe this game is on Arcade Archives. So I assume that version gives you as many continues as you want. And so you can just keep pumping in imaginary quarters. Oh, this is gonna be a miss. Nah, yeah, it is. It's gonna be a miss. Oh, I already screwed this up. Miss. I guess technically speaking... Oh, that was even worse. Well, 2 continues left. Okay. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing this game come back. I get the feeling that a game as confusing as this one might be a bit of a hard sell. The rules are a bit difficult to follow. It does seem like, as the stages get more confusing, the clear requirements go down. I also can't remember if they're the same stages each time, or if it shuffles the blocks. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, this looks like a different pattern. can get the whole back row in one. It is going to count as a miss, though. It's still good enough to clear. Oh, there's another S in the cluster. That's interesting. Okay, I got that. Now there's at least one X. Now I have a box. There's only one one move. I should say there's still only one move, but this is going to get us a circle. And that allows us to get these. It's going to let us get that. And, okay, so I guess the S was just a wild card. Now we get the box. That gets us an X, that gets us a circle. Let's get the circle. Now that gets us an X. And I think I screwed up. I think that's bad. Yeah, that's a miss. That's a miss, but it doesn't matter. No, I think the one I want this one. Gives you square. No, I don't want to do that because I can't, there's no available X moves. Do this, and then get these. That gives us the square back. We hit this square, now we do have an X move. And that's a miss. I think this is going to be a miss too. Oh my, Jessica, that is understandable. This game has very odd rules. And I think the only reason I can handle this is because I've played it before. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Can I get that one from the top? I think I can, yeah. And that's as many continues as you get. I have no idea what two-player mode would even be. Because, system isn't detecting a link cable, so it's not even letting me pick it. But yeah, this is currently available on Arcade Archives. Also, I know this was originally an arcade game, and so that's why there's a timer on the screen. If it were me, I would have taken the timer away. I think that subtracts from the game overall. Kind of an arcade mentality. There we go. Okay, now at this point it's just straight up impossible to clear those 3 X's. And so I imagine that's probably the reason why you don't need to clear the entire board, is because with the rules being the way they are, it is impossible. There's 3. Right. Well, it's the only move. No, that would be a miss. This might work. What? How is... Oh, right. Oh my. Forgot. I can't do a vertical shot on that row. Oh, that's mean. And that's also a miss. Yeah, like I say, the timer is there because this was originally an arcade game. But I would be in favor of giving the player all the time they need to plan their moves. This feels like the game that would be better if you could do that. especially given how complicated the rules are. Whoop. That went bad pretty fast. I got to stage 5 without using a continue. No, that's a bad move. Do this one. I don't think there's a good move available. It wound up not mattering. Okay, I'm gonna end up with a square regardless of which move I make here, so we'll do that. Now, this is going to be a miss, but it shouldn't matter. Oh, that's a miss waiting to happen. We'll get these ones. And that's also a miss. And so's that. Okay. Already spotted my mistake. Oh, right, well, at least it doesn't punish you for that. Though it does punish you for that, because that was a dumb move. Okay, put this here. Okay, wait, now, yeah, we can get this, and then that'll give us the X, and then that'll give us another triangle, and I guess we gotta hit the triangle from the top here, like so. And I think we can get that, and it gives us the square. And it's gonna be a miss after this move, but this is our only move. Alright. Oh, we got time to play this again. I keep forgetting that the S goes through the first block and then swaps with the one behind it. And that's a miss. So if I want a circle, I do that. I don't necessarily want this X first. No, I don't. Well, that was stage 1, so there's no point using a continue. So this will get me a square. Alright. That's a miss. That's another miss. Excuse me. This is going to be a miss, but that should be fine. Yep. I believe this is going to end up being a miss. So's that, actually. I think we want to do this instead. And... okay. Okay, I'm looking at the side, so it says block 30, clear 8. So, I guess that means if we get blocked down to 22, that means we clear the stage? I feel like this information could have been presented in a clearer way, but I suppose that's kind of this game's issue overall. Can't make that move. I have to do this. Okay. Maybe clear 8 means you need to get the number of blocks down to below 8. That makes more sense. Now that I'm saying it out loud, yeah. Yeah, well, it only took 45 minutes, but I have kind of deciphered the information on the screen, so there's that. No, stay away from squares for now. Actually, we'll get that one. We can do this. And I think I just messed it up. But I also think I just got it under the wire. There we go. I got 2 continues, might as well use them. Oops. Okay. No, that would be the same bad move. Okay. Do that. Well, that's a game over. So, at this point, let's go. Whoa. Screen went bright. Hang on. There. Okay. So this game ended up being a little more confusing than I remembered it being. Like I said, I've played it before, and also, like I said, it's on Arcade Archives right now, so I believe that version lets you just continue unlimitedly. That word that definitely exists, unlimitedly. I really can't say that it's a bad game necessarily. Like, I do have fun when I play it. But it is a difficult game to understand. And I think that kind of holds it back. And I think as far as this particular version goes, it's, again, I'm playing this on a decent-sized screen. And so even though it's in monochrome, like the different shapes are still reasonably discernible. I don't know like how small you bring that back down to your little Game Boy screen. Is it still readable? And does it even matter? Because the game is again, it's a fairly complicated game. It's not as accessible as Zoop. And Zoop isn't necessarily a super accessible game, so there's that. I'd say it's not as good as Pyramids of Ra. I think the 3 continue thing is also a mark against it to some degree. This is another one of those games, if it did have unlimited continues, it would be a better game. If it had no time limit, that would also make it a better game. But it's also not as boring as Wild Snake. and is definitely better than Nail and Scale. And it's better than Ishido Way of the Stones. And then we find ourselves in this other little cluster right here with other games that had accessibility issues with the Game Boy screen. This one potentially less so. I think it's a better game than Boulder Dash. And it's not as good as Krusty's Funhouse or Spot the Video Game. Palamedes is an interesting comparison because that's another game that kind of confusing. Say this is better than Stop That Roach. And it's better than that slightly broken version of Lemmings, but that's as far as it goes. So it is our new number 20. Flipull. Exciting cube game. Yeah, so ultimately still fun, but I must admit, maybe not as good as I remember it being. Who knew? You know, that's why you come back to these and why you try to play them with fresh eyes. But at any rate, that is going to be me for this evening. I will be back tomorrow night with more live improvised music. Whoops. Back tomorrow night with more live improvised music. I'll be back on Saturday with more music production. And then Monday with some more E.T., Escape from Planet Earth, the good E.T. game, and some more Azure Dreams. On Tuesday, we'll be playing something new. I still haven't decided what yet, and I'm thinking I might just kind of goof off for the Tuesdays of December, and then, you know, start a new game proper in January. But that's going to be it. So thank you for coming by. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Jessica, for the birthday wish. Just thank you so much. It means a lot. And as always, I do hope to see you next time. So bye for now.